Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing Film Analysis, Part 3 of the Adonis Stevenson-Badou Jack Film Analysis. In this episode we're going to take a look at Badou Jack again, final part of the Lucien-Boutte fight, which we examined in the first part of this series. But now we're taking a look at the latter half of the fight and just really put the finishing touches on what Badou Jack has to do. By looking at his strengths and looking at his weaknesses, we're going to be able to determine what the best course of action will be for him. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so one of the first things we looked at in the video when we analyzed Badou Jack's strengths and weaknesses was he's very good at turning people. He's got good footwork. You don't see him bouncing around the ring using lateral movement, but he doesn't need to. That's not really his style. That being said, you don't have to be hopping around the ring to be elusive, I should say. And so that's what Badou Jack brings to the table, good footwork. And as we're going to see here against Boutte, who's a left-hander and who has a good left hand, just like Adonis Stevenson, Jack for the most part was able to keep Boutte off balance by keeping him turning. And he's going to have to do that against Adonis Stevenson because Adonis Stevenson packs a more significant punch than Boutte. So here we're going to see Jack again keeping him turning. Now we're going to look at that in slow motion. See how Jack right there fighting to get that positioning correctly. So he gets the foot, his lead foot outside of Boutte's lead foot, and then he takes pivots. And look at Boutte's feet. Did you see that? How by keeping him turning, Jack is able to keep Boutte off balance. Look at this. See how he crosses his feet and then he sort of stumbles a little bit. That's what Jack brings to the table. Good footwork. And that allows him to strike his opponent, and it prevents his opponent from touching him while they're fighting. So very good. So here we see Badou Jack working the body. That was a good overhand right. Look at those tight shots on the inside. Good uppercuts. If he does fight Stevenson on the inside, which might not be that bad an idea when you come to think of it, this is one of the things that Jack brings to the table. One of his advantages, he's got some nice tight shots. So let's look at it. See, he's not opening up his arms too much. He's not flaring up. Nice, real fucking good uppercuts in there. Here we're gonna see him working the body, which is something he's gonna have to do against the older Stevenson. So he's measuring Boutte there with his left hand. I mean with his left hand, with his jab. Goes in with a short right that sort of misses the mark, and then he goes, see, he uses that elbow. Remember guys, we talked about that in the first part, how he uses that forearm and elbow to keep his opponent in place just for a tiny brief second, and then two body shots in consecutive fashion. Real good speed on his punches. And here you see him just continuing to work the body. He goes upstairs and then he finishes downstairs. Another example right there of keeping his opponent turning. Lead right, Boutte's on the defensive, and he's looking to counter with his left hand. So what does Jack do? Very smart. He gets real close because the momentum of his shot drove him close. So he gets real close. Again, remember that guard, tight Badou Jack guard, which is one of his strengths. He gets on the inside. So even if Boutte does throw a punch here, Jack is going to be able to block it. But instead, he doesn't stay there. He keeps Boutte turning. And again, look at Boutte. See how many... Jack took one big pivot, wide pivot right there. Look at how wide that pivot was. And Boutte as well turned with him, but he's still not in a good position to punch. And so he tries to go, I think he was trying to get away from Jack's left hook. This is the 8th round, and by that time, Jack was beating him pretty good to the body with those left hooks. So I think that's why Boutte kept going towards Jack's right. So Jack, boom, hits him with the left hook. And just a little subtle feint there. See that? He opens up the right hand as if he's about to throw it. And so Boutte doesn't know what's coming. He gets hit with the left hook to the body. Here continuing to work to the body, exchanging with Boutte. Good left hook, right behind the elbow. And then again, turns. Never staying in the same place. And that's what he's going to have to do against Adonis Stevenson. He can't stay in front of Stevenson all the time. Here's he using that elbow, just touching Boutte, keeping him busy, blocking those pivot pads, and then getting out of the way. So look at that in slow motion. See, he's blocking the pity pats. Good defense from Badou Jack, staying relaxed, not panicking. And then, see, he bounces. He bounces again. He puts his rear leg. He bounces, right? Lead leg back. He pulls it back so he can pivot away and step back, and gets out of Boute's line of attack. And here, look at this. Boom! Beautiful step aside from Jack, digging to the body with his right. And then a left hook. See, that's the thing. He rarely is content with one punch. He'll go upstairs and finish downstairs, or he'll go downstairs and finish upstairs. Multiple punches, changing upstairs, downstairs. And again, that keeping Bute turning. Look at that. Now there he crossed his legs. And again, for people that are very technical about this type of stuff, you know that they say never to cross your legs, especially when your opponent is in range. But you can do it. Roman Gonzalez likes to do that same thing on the inside, very close. So you can see that professional fighters like to break or bend the rules when it suits them. And here it worked fine. So see, he's moving towards his right, Bute following him, and then pivots away. So now Bute doesn't know where Jack is going to be. And so we talked about this in the first video. Jack is younger, fresher than Stevenson, who is 40 years old. And remember that Stevenson has only fought, I think, about 2 rounds total in the past year. And he's a big puncher, to his credit. He's never really had to go that many times past the 6th round. In the last couple of years, he's only gone 12 rounds twice. Once against Fonfara and against Sakio Bika. But when he does go past the 6th round, he tends to get a little tired. Then again, to his credit, not many guys can make it past the 6th. You have to make it past the 6th round to get him a little tired. But it can be done. And here we're going to take a look at how Sakio Bika was able to stay close. Now remember, if you're not familiar with Sakio Bika, this is really his style. He likes to get in close, stick to you like glue, and hit you behind the head, hit you low, just real dirty inside fighting. And so that's what he did against Stevenson in the late rounds. When he started to feel Stevenson wilt a little bit, he stuck close to him. Look at that. Now keep in mind that his shots, Bika's shots, aren't as tight as Jack's shots. And here you see Stevenson, 7th round, he throws a 1-2 and then clinches. Because like I said, he was feeling the pace a little bit. So you see him trying to get away, Bika upping the pressure. Again, Stevenson clinches because Stevenson can fight on the inside. But it's a whole other proposition fighting Bika on the inside, especially when you're getting a little tired. So see, you see Bika working. Again, his shots not as tight, as compact as Jack's, but he's still working, making Stevenson work. And he gets hit with... You see that Stevenson got hit with that left hand. If you watch the second part of the film analysis we did, where we focus on Stevenson, and even in the first part, we talk about how Stevenson, he can be outboxed with the lead hand. He loses the war of the lead hands. And here you see him getting hit with that left hand. Again, Bika working. And Bika, as you can see, compared to what we showed you in the first part of the film analysis and in this episode, Jack has more dimensions to his inside game. He likes to change angles, he pivots a lot, not like Bika here, who's quite desperate in trying to make something happen. He's just winging shots on the inside, not changing angles, not varying the attack, just right hands, a couple of left hands in there. They're working the body, that's good. Stevenson trying to give something back. And that's where you see 2 things here. Number one, with Stevenson, see, he has that left hand low. And so he leans back away from it, but he still got touched up a little bit. And remember, Fonfara was hitting him with some very good jabs and left hands. But then there's also the positive from Stevenson, is that on the inside, see, he's throwing short uppercuts. And then he pivots away. When he fights on the inside, Stevenson, he doesn't stay in the same place either. He likes to pivot away, so it's going to be a very good inside fight if it goes to the inside against Badou Jack, because both guys are very smart and they like to create angles. But here's the problem now. If Badou Jack wants to make it past the 6th, first of all, he has to avoid Stevenson's power. He has to make him work, but to make him work, you have to get past left hands like this. Look at that. Boom. Very strong counterpuncher, sharp counterpuncher, Stevenson, and heavy-handed. And he can knock you down with shots to the body, upstairs. And even if you block the shots, he's gonna pierce your guard. So that was just a little short video, final part analyzing Badou Jack. I would love to analyze more the Badou Jack versus DeGale fight, because DeGale is a switch hitter. Most of the fight he spent it as a southpaw, I believe. But again, DeGale is really not a good guy to compare Stevenson with, because Stevenson doesn't throw as many punches as DeGale. He's a heavier puncher. DeGale tends to slap a lot, so you know, it would be an interesting concept, because DeGale, like I said, he was fighting a lot as a southpaw, but I think Butte pretty much covers it. And I will try to make another video about Adonis Stevenson, the latter part of the first from far fight, which is one of his hardest fights, where he really had to dig down. So I'm looking forward to making one of those, although we do have a lot of other videos to make here. We have the Lomachenko-Linares, we have Triple G Canelo, so a lot of fights to look forward to, but we'll try to squeeze one last video in. As for Badou Jack, if we don't make another video, the keys to victory for him are he has to keep moving on the inside. He can't just stay there. He's gonna have to implement a little bit of more head movement, because as we saw, he has a good guard. He likes to block shots, but sometimes he gets a little too complacent with his guard. And we saw against Butte, even when he was pity patting, some of the shots were going through Jack's guard. And as we saw here, Stevenson has a type of power that can break your guard, and if it breaks your guard, chances are you're going to get stunned or you're going to go down. And Badou Jack's already been stopped once in his career, so there is a question regarding Badou Jack's chin. The other things, he has to keep up a good work rate. Maybe take it easy in the first couple of 6 rounds, not take too many risks, but make Stevenson work, and hopefully you can tire him down the stretch. Stevenson, again, he's only fought like 2 rounds total, something like that, in the past year. Prior to that, it was a Thomas Williams Jr. fight, which went 6 rounds, I believe, but that was in 2016. So again, he hasn't been very active, which isn't a good thing for an old fighter. We saw that with Guillermo Rigondeaux against Lomachenko. He hadn't fought, I think he'd fought only a round or 2 in a year. Remember that Moises Fuentes fight that ended in a no contest. So who has the advantage here in momentum coming in? It's definitely Badou Jack, but Stevenson is a very strong guy. Strong puncher, sharp counter puncher, so Badou Jack really is up against it. As for Stevenson, he's gonna have to come in shape, keep moving, again vary his attack as he always does, and try to overpower Badou Jack, especially in the early rounds where guys aren't used to tasting Stevenson's power. So guys, that was another BDA Boxing Film Analysis. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe also to BDA Live, where we hold a live podcast. Tell us what we got right, tell us what we got wrong, give us your suggestions about what videos you'd like us to make in the future, and we'll see you in the next one, folks. Take care.
BDA Boxing.